Today, we are going to be talking with Kate Adams. So, Kate has been not only a extremely long-term client, but also an amazing friend. And we are going to dive into Kate's business today. And she's a financial advisor with Primerica. And so, Kate, I guess starting off, tell us just a little bit more about yourself. And then we're going to dive deep into your business today. So,
Okay. Well, like you said, I am a financial advisor. I have been in this space for over 10 years now, and I specialize in helping business owners really optimize their finances for success. And I help a lot of other people as well, but that's definitely my favorite people to work with and really focus on building strategies and winning plans overall. So, in a nutshell, that's what I do.
awesome. Well, we're gonna definitely dive into the like details of like who you work with and like the different options that you have for people. But I'd like to kind of start off in the beginning and just talk through a little bit about like how did you get into this industry? Like why'd you get into this industry? Like what were the kind of the reasons? Like where'd you start from? And obviously you've been doing this for 10 years now, so we're gonna go back a little bit and kind of start there.
I always tell people my resume is strictly Jesus. I have a very funny story. Never planned on doing finances at all. My plan was to be an attorney, and I was actually an HR executive for Target at the time that I was applying for law school and looking at it, and I was making more money as an HR executive for Target than all of my friends that were first and second year attorneys. And I wasn't a financial advisor then, but I knew enough about money to be like, so I'm going to not work for 3 years, go into $150,000 of debt to make less money than I currently do. And life isn't all about money, but that just didn't add up to me. And so it really wrecked my whole life plan career. And thankfully, God has better plans for us than we have for ourselves, because I was introduced to this business and I literally started it part time. I told the guy that I interviewed, like, hey, like, I'm going to give this 90 days. And if I don't like it, we can part ways and no hard feelings, right? And that was 10 and a half years ago. So obviously, I liked it and I absolutely love what I do now. And it's funny how looking back, all of the things that I did up until this point helped me be better at what I do now. And that's just literally, I think, just a testament to God and his goodness and how he knows the plans that he has for us better than we do for ourselves, thankfully.
Yeah, for sure. What were some of the reasons like financial advice? So going from like HR, right, for like corporate to then in the financial advising, like within that first 90 days, 6 months, like what were
Yeah.
some of the
Why?
things that really like kept you there and kept you going? Like what were those some of those reasons?
That's a great question. So I fell in love with this business when just in my first 90 days, I saw the impact that I could make in people's lives. Money touches every area of our life. I always tell people money isn't everything, but you can't do much without it. And for so many people, it causes them so much stress. I mean, people get divorced because of money. People break up families because of money. And it has such an impact on people's lives. And a lot of times people just don't know what to do with it. And that's, the thing is a lot of people are losing the game because they don't know how to play. They don't know even what the rules are. And that's why I love what I do is because I get to educate people on how to win the money game and how to make it work for them better so that it's not impacting them negatively, but hopefully positively. And the thing that I really love about what I get to do is not only am I making a huge difference in people's lives, I like your mug, but I also get to do life with people. And so, kind of a little bit about my backstory. My grandfather was a pastor, and I got to be in ministry and see that firsthand growing up most of my life. And there's so many things that I feel completely honored to get to walk through people with in my role now is, at the best and worst times of people's lives, I'm typically one of their first 5 phone calls, and I get to help them navigate those things, hopefully in the best way possible for them and their families. And so that's really, probably not your stereotypical answer, but that's really what made me fall in love with this business and just the difference that I can make in people's lives. And, I get to make people millionaires for a living. Like, how fun is that? So,
Yeah, for sure. I think like one of the things, obviously, like working with you over the last couple of years and just seeing like how much you care about like the people that you do work with. But I think past that too, I think there is some differences, and I'd love for you to take the opportunity to talk a little bit about Primerica and the approach there, and like some of the more maybe product specific things that really separate you and everything that you're doing from, other financial advisors out there.
yeah. And that's one of the things that I love about the firm that I'm with is we have so many things that we can help people with. Like, I'm not just a financial advisor. I can help people save money on insurance. I help people with estate planning. I help people I can do mortgages. So there's so many aspects that we cover, and we get to help people in all those different things. Like right now, I'm helping a client refinance a home to make a financial play that is going to be monumental for them and their families. And so having so many different tools and resources at our fingertips is awesome. And it lets me help more people and help more people somewhat creatively, and that's
Right.
another thing that I love about what I get to do. The other thing is our entry point is a lot lower than a lot of other firms. And so I met with a financial advisor literally last week who works for another firm. And she was like, hey, I have several clients, but if they don't have 250,000, I can't help them. Like, her firm is going to penalize her for helping anybody under $250,000. Well, how many people have less than $250,000, but they still need
Right.
help? And so I love that I get to help, you know, obviously not every single person I can help, but so many people that a lot of other people can't. And I can help them in a lot of different areas. And because we're a brokerage, we work with a lot of different companies, which really lets me figure out what is best for a client instead of just having like, oh, well, this is what I have, so this is what I have to offer you.
Sure. Talk to us a little bit more too. Like I'm sure there's people that are watching this or going to watch this that they have in their minds like financial advisor, right? Which before I kind of even knew like what a financial advisor was, I just thought it's like, oh, well, you have to have, X amount of money and they're just going to go invest it in the stock market for me, and that's kind of it. But like I'd love for you to kind of dig a little bit deeper into like some of the different products and some of the different things that you're offering for those different stages, because like I know that you've helped a variety of people, right? And we'll kind of get into a little bit more of like the business owner aspect of things as well, but I'd love for you to dive into like this a little bit more specifically, like the different areas and things that that you're helping people with on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. I mean, I tell people it costs you nothing to talk to me, but it could cost you a lot not to, because knowledge is power, and there's so many things that people don't know about, right? Like, they just don't
Right.
know. We're not taught these things in school, which is sad, but or we are taught online where people are getting so much bad advice, right? From people that don't have any of the things that they're telling people they should do and don't know what they're talking about, don't have any licenses, it's just wild. And so in, an information overload, finding somebody that's actually licensed and knows what they're talking about makes a big difference. So I help people save money on insurance. We have a partnership with home and auto insurance, life insurance, all those things. I don't personally do health insurance, but I have people that do, that I do refer that. So I always tell people, like, insurance is your defensive strategy, and we also, we want that in place because I'm a sports girl. Like, defense wins championships, and it's an important piece of your plan. But we also need a solid offensive plan. Like, what is our plan to save money on taxes That's big, especially for business owners. Maximize our growth and minimize our volatility and risk. And that's really a solid offensive plan that we try to put in place. And so I think, one of the great things is we really build strategies, right? From now until you pass away. And then even after that, like making sure your estate plan is in place so that your assets pass properly and they don't all
Mhm.
go to the government and taxes and, whatever else.
Right.
That's really important. And so we help people with, wills, trusts, um, all different types of investments, funds for their kids, and 401ks for businesses, you know, mortgages, you name it. I either do it or I have a partnership with somebody that does.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing that I've seen that's like the biggest difference in what
Yeah.
some of what you're doing as compared to other people, right? Just like you said, is okay, well, I need $1 million to do X, Y, and Z, or a quarter million to do this, or so I think the one thing that I've I've gotten to learn about how you work with your clients is like you really do take that approach of figuring out, hey, where are you currently at right now and where are you trying to go? And then how do we develop a plan using all these different tools to make sure that you're accomplishing your goals? And so like that is one thing I would say that is a massive separator um, around around what you do, which is awesome. Um, tell tell us a little bit more about kind of the business owner specifically. So obviously, like I know you work with single individuals, married couples, people that own houses, don't own houses, right? Like that have more of those 9 to 5 jobs. But like I know one of the things you've really been focusing on is working more with businesses and business owners. And I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I love working with business owners because so many business owners are passionate about what they do. They're working in their business, but they don't have their money working for them. And they're so focused on their business that their personal finance gets neglected. And I totally get that as a business owner myself, is when you're helping everybody else and you're spinning all the plates, the last thing that you think about a lot of times is you. And do you have the things in place that a lot of times people have through their jobs? And not only that, like the tax savings. So if anybody ever talks to me, they find out pretty quickly I am pretty passionate about not paying the government any extra than we have to. I obviously am big on like pay your taxes, okay, but I don't think they're doing the best job possible, so I'm not trying to tip them. And that is how I advise a lot of my clients. Like, if we can find tax savings by structuring your things properly, I have saved people tens and almost hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes just by helping them structure their self or their finances better. And so
Right.
many people don't know that. And it's just like hiring an expert that's good typically saves you thousands of dollars in any area, right? I'm going to save time and money by hiring a plumber than if I try to go on YouTube and do it myself. And it's the same thing for what I do. Like hiring a financial advisor that is good and knows what they're doing is one of the best financial plays that I think anybody can make, because they're going to save you and make you tenfold.
Right.
And that's what I try to do for my clients.
Definitely. And like you said too, is like you're not charging somebody to talk with you, right? And so a
Mm-mm.
lot of times it's just a matter of, hey, let's have a conversation. And usually within 30, 45 minutes of that conversation, you're able to figure out, hey, like, yep, I can help you, or I need to pass you off to somebody else first, and then we can kind of
Right.
circle back around. And so um and that to me is also kind of the no-brainer, which is like
Yeah.
there's no hard sell here. It's really like, can we help you or can't we? Right.
Yeah.
Which I think is awesome.
Well, and I just talked to a client last week, and they're already with Fidelity. Like they're already a client of Fidelity. They've been with them a while, and they just, had some questions for me. And in a conversation with me, because I do think differently, like I was able to show them a way that they could save $40,000 in taxes. Like that's massive. And,
Right.
they're not even my client yet, like they're with another advisor, but I'm a believer in like, I want to help people, whether they're my client or not. And obviously, like, hopefully they realize like, hey, a 30-minute conversation with us, she saved us 40 grand. We've been with Fidelity for 10 years and they didn't come up with this idea. So maybe
Right.
we should look at that. But whether they do or not, like, it's still good advice for them. And I hope that they, I would love for them to save 40 grand in taxes.
Yeah, for sure. I think I want to lean into like what you said just about like helping people, right? Like I know one of your passions also is like helping other people kind of follow this journey with financial advising and mentoring and like bringing people along. And so I'd love for you to talk a little bit about, how could somebody, if they're on the fence or they're looking for another opportunity, I know a lot of times it's like, okay, I got to quit my job and then I got to go full time into this. And I think you kind of offer through Primerica a really unique opportunity for people to kind of test the waters. So I guess talk a little bit more about like agents, like becoming an agent, how that all works.
Well, thankfully, we have a really cool like try it before you buy it policy, which is what I did. So I tell everybody like try it part-time. Like you're not gonna know if you love it or hate it until you do it. And you might be like me, where I started part-time while I was still working 60 to 90-hour weeks at Target. And
Right.
I just absolutely fell in love with what we do. And for those people, I think that this is a great opportunity because you can start part-time, get all your licensing, like get all the education, learn how to do the business, and everything you make here is just extra, on top
Right.
of what you're already making. And so I hire and train a lot of agents that are looking to get into the industry or are wanting a career change or wanting something different for them and their families, and mentor them, right? And teach them how to be successful in this industry and all the things that I learned the hard way, how to not do what I did wrong and hopefully do tenfold of what I did right. And so I love getting to be able to do that and teach people the business. It is, in my opinion, such an amazing opportunity. And I feel beyond honored that I get to do this for a living because I can work from anywhere. I get to meet with awesome people like you and so many of my clients. I get to make a difference in people's lives. I get to make really good money. And, a lot of times I work from home in pajama pants, it's a pretty great gig. I get to set my own schedule, and family is really important to me, and I get to plan my work around my life and my family, and that's awesome too. There's not a lot of
Yeah.
places where you can go and get to do that. Tomorrow, I'm taking the day off to go take my nephews to the zoo, and I didn't have to ask anybody permission, right? Like I just got to
Right.
go. And so I think it's just an amazing opportunity, and I never take that for granted or take it lightly. And the residual income aspect of what we do is also really awesome. You can build assets under management that continue to pay you whether you're in front of clients or not. And that's also a really unique thing to our industry that I think is a really amazing opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the things, so like obviously, I'm in Wisconsin, you're in Oklahoma, but you work with people all over. And so I'd love for you to talk a little bit about like the different areas you live in, and also like if somebody's an agent, like could they be somewhere else? They have to be in Oklahoma. Talk a little bit more about your national reach and who you're working with.
Yeah. So COVID was a game changer for our business. We went almost 100% on Zoom. Now, obviously, I still have in-person clients and I still meet with people in person. And I've flown to Wisconsin to see clients there. And, I do travel a lot for clients and for fun too. But I
Mhm.
have agents that work with me all over the country because we have the Zoom opportunity. And so it's great for people that are anywhere. And it's fun for me because I get to work from anywhere and I love to travel too. And so, regardless of where they are, whether it be clients or agents. Obviously we have licensing procedures that we have to go through on our end, but as long as, we have a license, which I have licenses in, I think, 17 or 18 different states right now. So as long as we're licensed in that area, then we can work there. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's a little bit different aspect, but I have agents in Oklahoma that I've never even met in person because we're on Zoom. So it's a really fun way to be able to work with people all over the country and to get to travel and meet with people in person sometimes too.
I love it. What are if there's somebody that's on the fence, kind of like you just talked about the person, that had their accounts with Fidelity or things of that nature. One of the things that I can attest to is I know your approach when it comes to clients, right? And a lot of times it's a matter of just saying, hey, like if I let me take a look at it or what you currently have in place. And if it's not going to be in your best interest, then we're not going to make that move, right? And I know that firsthand. That's how you handle clients. But if there's somebody listening that's like, maybe they're just looking for somebody else to take a look at something or another piece of advice, like who are the people that you're like, hey, this would be a good opportunity for me to really just take a look at what you got going on.
Honestly, I don't think that it hurts to get a second opinion ever. You know, Even my own clients, like the people with that I told you about, like that they're with Fidelity. Even them, I was like, yeah, go talk to Fidelity and then get back with me. Like, see what they say, right? Um, I am never afraid of competition. That's just not how I operate. If you want to work with somebody else, that's totally fine. I respect that. But you don't know what you don't know. And there are some really good salespeople out there that have really scammed some people. And I could talk for hours on crazy things that I've seen. And you don't know. If you're not in the industry, you don't know what you don't know. And a lot of times people don't even know what to look for. I've sat down with agents that have sold things that they're like, and I taught them how their product worked. Like, that's crazy. So, I am very, like you said, like, I want the best for people. At the end of the day, like, I want to be able to sleep with myself knowing that I did the right thing, and I'm never going to tell somebody to do something that's not in their best interest. I also tell people all the time, like, if it doesn't math, don't do it. Like, we are in a
Right.
numbers business. If somebody can't show you mathematically the numbers and why something is better and how it works, I don't think that you should proceed. Um, I tell my clients all the time, like, don't take my word for it. Let me show you. Because I think it's important for people to understand and to see the numbers and understand how things work. And that's my approach. That's not everybody's approach, which is why I'm like, yeah, it probably wouldn't hurt for you to talk to me because I've seen some crazy things over the years. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm happy to tell people, like, yeah, you're in a good spot. I mean, like you said, like, you've seen me do that.
Right.
And I'm never hesitant to be like, hey, like, this is good, this is not, you're good, you're not. And I don't have a problem ever telling people that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's imperative because like years and years ago, I worked for a very short period of time in the financial industry. And for me, it was sometimes the agents or the people that are selling you those products don't actually really, they're being told by somebody above them, hey, push this product for these reasons. But in all actuality, it's just the product that's going to make them the most money. Right.
Right.
And I'm not saying everybody, I'm not like accusing or anything
True.
like that, but I do think it
It
is very
happens.
important to always have somebody take a second look at what you currently have in place. Because, like, at the end of the day, if you're doing it with the right people, then it's just affirmation that you made the right decisions, or there may be another perspective that's going to give you the opportunity to maybe take a different look at what you currently have in place.
Absolutely.
And a lot of times you're not thinking about those things until like the extreme moments happen, right?
Yeah.
Like life insurance and investments and things of that nature. Like a lot of times the moment that there's catastrophe, like you said, or on the other end, like really good or really bad, are the moments that people really take a look at those things. And I think the most opportune time is when none of that's going on, right?
Yeah,
Because it gives
for
you a
sure.
clear head to really think through what you have in place.
Well, and I think life insurance is sadly one of the biggest industries that people get screwed. And it's funny, you know, how I was talking, like I worked for three or four, well, three, three and a half, law firms through college because I was wanting to be an attorney. So I've read a lot of contracts. And it's funny how, like I said, like God pieces everything together. And my love of law and justice and contract knowledge has really served me well when it comes to life insurance because it's a contract. It's a contract
Right.
between you and that company. And 9 times out of 10, that client never reads their contract and they have no idea what they have, how it works, or any of that until usually it's too late and they're trying to
Right.
get that money. And that's when they find out, oh, I just got screwed for the last 20, 30, however long years. And that is heartbreaking to me because at a time when your family needs that the most, that's when they're going to find out that,
Right.
you know, they have nothing or they have less than they thought or all kinds of things. Like I mean, I
Right.
can't tell you how many times I've seen horrible, horrible, horrible things because the client didn't know. And so, you know, especially life insurance, like, yeah, let's look at it because I don't think that I've met anybody that is able to decipher life insurance contracts better than me yet. I'm not saying I'm the best, but I'm pretty good at it. And
Right.
being able to figure out like what is in your contract, because whatever that agent told you really doesn't matter. What's in your contract is what the company's going to honor.
Right. Yeah, no, super, super important. And I've seen that work on both ends. I've seen it to where the right situation, the right policies are in place that have truly worked exactly how the
Yeah,
individual wanted it to work for them. And then also the opposite. And so
yeah,
I think the biggest thing that I would say is like if you are somebody that is considering, or you want somebody to take a second look at something, or you're starting a new family, you're going through some of those life transitions, or even as a business owner,
yeah.
I think Kate's definitely somebody that you can reach out to and just have a real good conversation with. So
Thanks.
um, as we wrap up, Kate, I'd love for you just to kind of end here. Like, who are the people? I know, I guess I just kind of said it a little bit, but who are the people that you would love to meet with? And then also, how do they find you? How do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, well, I am happy to meet with anybody. Thankfully, I don't have a quarter of a million minimum to talk to me, but I'm happy to meet with anybody. And I especially love talking to and meeting with business owners because there are so many ways that I can help them really maximize, you know, their, like I said, their tax savings and just put together a plan that's really gonna make a difference for their families. And
Sure.
so if you're a business owner, I highly recommend you talk to me. But anybody else, like I said, you know, I'm happy to meet with anybody. I have agents, you know, that help clients as well. Or if you're interested in finding out more about the industry or getting involved in the industry, I'd love to talk to you too and see if you'd be a good fit. We're always looking for great people, and we're always looking to help great people. And so I think I would say that. But you know,
Awesome.
I'm happy to reach out to anybody that has questions as well. The best way to contact me, you can comment on this video, or you can reach out to me on social media, or you can give me a call at 405-913-4884. Any of those ways, you're more than welcome to reach out to me. I have a landing page and stuff that I can tag on here too, but I'm everywhere. So I'm sure you can get a hold of me somewhere.
Awesome. Okay. I appreciate your time today and just sharing a little bit more about what you do and how you help people. And so I appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you have been monumental for my business, and I appreciate all that you've done for me and my business as well. I tell everybody they should have a Drew if they don't, because you have just been able to really help me take my business to the next level and not, want to die in doing it. So systems matter, and I am grateful to have you in that aspect of my business as well. It has been just a complete game changer. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for that. And I'm honored to get to be on here and talk to you as well.
Awesome. Thank you.